Welcome to the second video of 2015. Get ready. Here in the Gospel Revolution, we of course promote Mike Williams' book, which is called, the title is One, O-N-E, One. Subtitle is The Gospel According to Mike. And it is just pure announcement of the gospel through and through. But we also refer people to a few other books by other people who know the gospel. One of them would be Touching Spirit by Pep Washburn. Another would be The Hour We Least Expected by Stephen Essery and Aaron Essery. And another one would be Redemption by Bob Hines. And the other day, a guy contacted me and asked me about what is that Redemption something book. He got the title wrong. And so I gave him the information on the book and who wrote it and where to get it. And I gave him the full and correct title, which is Redemption. Subtitle is A Declaration for All, Not a Choice for a Few. And when I wrote that out, I thought, I've always liked Bob's title. That was very thoughtful. Because the gospel is about the redemption of the world, and it is. The gospel is nothing but good news. It's news. And actually the Greek word for gospel is only used in very specific cases of news, usually something as grand as a military victory. It's a big announcement, and big news, a lot of news, but good news. But it literally declares victory. It is a declaration, and it's a declaration for everybody, not a choice for a few. And I understand why he says that, not a choice for a few, because I know what that means. The gospel that I was taught, the gospel as Christianity defined the gospel to me, it defined it as a choice. Actually, it's very much nothing more than an ultimatum. And the ultimatum is believe in Jesus or burn in hell. And so you got to make a choice to believe in Jesus or burn in hell. And you got to do it based on what denomination. You got to do it the way they say it. You say some sort of sinner's prayer, accept Jesus, make a confession of faith. Maybe there's a baptism or two. But it's an ultimatum. It's presented as a choice. No, the gospel is just news. It's not a choice. It is big news. It is a declaration. And of course, when we teach the gospel, people find out we're not teaching the gospel that was defined to them in Christianity. As a matter of fact, in the process, we deconstruct that definition, and we demonstrate how they got the facts wrong, and we take the same facts that they use, put them back in place, because they'll take things out of context and string them all together. Well, we unstring them, put them back where they came from, and present them, and we present the facts. And the fact is that they took things out of context, and we put them back in. Well, it also got me to thinking, it's like, I did make that choice in Vacation Bible School over 40 years ago at my friend's Baptist church, and then came home and told my Catholic mother, and my Catholic mother threw a Catholic fit. But eventually she came around too, and also went through the sinner's prayer and became a Baptist herself. So much for the Catholic fit. And then, but what I'm trying to say here is, years later, when I was a teenager, I went to Germany for a year, got away from my church and my Bible and everything, but I couldn't get away from how the world was defined to me in my head, how life was defined to me, and that is that you've got to be a Christian or you go to hell. You got to believe in Jesus or you go to hell. And I started, and of course I knew my Bible very well, had much of it memorized. And so I just started reevaluating the facts as they were presented to me. But I also knew where they came from. And things just started falling into place. I remembered entire passages that Paul wrote that I read so often. And I was starting to see that grace was not the way it was presented to me. They had the facts wrong there. And all I did was reevaluate things. That's all I really did. And I came to understand that what I was told was a future judgment coming was actually already completed. It was done at the cross. Um, Grace was upside down to me. I understood grace in a completely new way now. And all I was doing was reevaluating everything that was already presented to me by somebody else's definitions. Um, After I came home that year, my cousin came running up to see me, hugged me, and she said, "Jeff, I became a Christian." And I realized, oh my God, I'm no longer a Christian. And that was a surprise to me. I didn't say anything to her, but my heart sank because I knew what she meant. I knew what that definition was to her. And I did not know it, but I was no longer a Christian. And then I finally knew I wasn't a Christian. I never made the decision. I never chose no longer to be a Christian. It was never a choice. It was just a matter of having come to understand things I no longer related to being a Christian. As a matter of fact, for me to be a Christian would deny everything I understood about the gospel. So it's a beautiful difference between the gospel of grace and peace and the gospel of evangelical Christianity. The gospel of evangelical Christianity is an ultimative, believe or burn. The true gospel of peace and grace is nothing more than an announcement. And if you understand it, it will change your definitions, and it will probably change your whole view of life. Anyway, that went a little longer than I expected, but welcome to the new year once again, and have a revolutionary week.